All right, so the episode starts off with Rick and Morty on an adventure. They're in some strange planet with a whole bunch of acid everywhere. It looks dystopian, industrial. By the way, I like the auto park scene. It just reminds me of how much I really wanted a Tesla for so long, and yet here I am. I still don't have one because I'm broke. But this literally is a minute into this episode, and you can already tell that Morty isn't with it this episode. So they talk about their game plan before they go in. They're here to do a business deal, trade some gems for some other gems. And right before they leave, Rick hits Morty with, oh, and by the way, if things go wrong, just jump into the same vat of acid I do. And I guess Rick thought that this was just gonna go smoothly with Morty, that he was just gonna accept it, but Morty questions it.
The bones, they'll float up. What is this face you're making? Aren't you an inventor?
He goes, vat of acid. And then he really questions whether or not Rick is an actual inventor, because vat of acid seems kind of lowbrow to him. But to be completely honest, I thought it was a good idea. I mean, he went in, he scouted, vat of acid, jump in, and boom, looks like they committed suicide. I thought it was a great idea, by the way. They meet up with the guys. I guess they're supposed to be like 1920s or 30s Italian mobsters. They got those super funny accents, but apparently it was a double cross because they do the exchange, and then the guys tell them that they're fake, and then they pull out their guns. And so this is when Rick decides, uh-oh, it's time for the vat of acid, and he jumps into the vat of acid with Morty. This scene is funny to me, by the way. Even though Morty knew the plan, as soon as he hits the vat of acid, he's flailing his arms around and panicking, which is crazy.
Oh, hey! Holy shit, what the fuck?
I thought I'd seen this galaxy at its darkest.
And oh my god, the dialogue with these Italian mobsters, alien Italian mobsters, is absolutely hilarious, because the plan was just for them to jump into the vat of acid, the guys would see the bones, and then they would, oh, they killed themselves. Well, let's move on with our day. But apparently this is so traumatizing to them that they just decide they gotta stick around and just have a therapy session about it, which was funny because that was not the plan at all. Just essentially reinforcing Morty's thoughts that this was a bad idea. Hey, yo, listen to this.
Oh, Maroon! Okay, I'd say that's pretty acidy.
Oh, Maroon! Bones on that rack. Oh, how many sets of bones this rack got?
Hey, yo, Maron. All this was hilarious. After they've been in a vat of acid for what seems like hours, Morty finally has had enough, and he just basically decides to kill him. He fails at that miserably, by the way, and Rick has to grab the gun and finish the job. So the car ride is actually pretty awkward. Morty gets really disrespectful, like really disrespectful. I've never heard him talk to Rick like this before. And then, you know, Rick, of course, does that thing where he breaks the third wall, talks about that dragon episode. That was funny. They get back home, and it seems like everything's fine, but then Morty comes back and it's not fine. He still wants to give Rick some verbal lashing. He tells him about his idea of this like pausing game, video game remote thing, where basically you hit the button and then you do the stuff. You hit the button again and then you go back in time to when you hit the button, and then that stuff that you did basically didn't matter. It's actually a pretty cool concept, and of course Rick talks about that. Futurama's already done it, which I do remember that episode. Great episode, by the way, when Fry was using that remote thing, and then he ended up getting stuck in a loop, falling from that building. Great episode. Futurama is one of the greatest shows ever.
Fucking work would have to go into a machine that... You can't do it! Or what you're trying to do was called negging. It was called reverse psychology.
Rick tells him that it's beneath him, but Morty starts making fun of him, telling him that he can't do it, and like Rick says, it is negging him. I think he's trying to use reverse psychology, trying to manipulate Rick into making a device, and it works, because it gets Rick very angry, and just to prove Morty wrong, he is going to start making a device for him.
Rick, it's 3 a.m. What's going on? Why'd you call me?
You were right.
It's 3 a.m. He calls you downstairs and you decide to put your clothes on like you're about to go do something. I mean, just come down in your pajamas, man. Also, he says it's 3 a.m., but the clock in the back looks like it says 2. Assuming that the a.m. is right, it says 2 a.m.
I failed. I can't make it. And honestly, I'm pretty ashamed.
At first, Rick makes it seem like he failed, he couldn't do it, but then he does this to show him that he actually did do it because, you know, he can do anything. And then he says this.
How did you... Morty, you want me to explain, or you want to go have some fun?
I want to have some fun.
That, my friend, is called foreshadowing. Morty does this to his teacher, and this is the point when he realizes that he really can do anything with this remote. So the first thing he does is he goes and tries to use it on Jessica. And I don't know about you, but if I had that remote, yes, I would try any and everything with my crush. I would try try saying the craziest things, the stupidest things. I'll try to be the funniest, because every time I'd hit the reset, it would be like I tried it again. You know, it's like a whole new interaction with that person. You never know. Oh my God, all the baddies I would talk to, bruh, with a remote like this. But yes, this would be the start of the montage. This first scene right here is Morty jumping over a manhole, and how unathletic do you have to be to just F that up? It's not even that big, dude. Holy. But he's actually very wasteful with this, because he's using it to redo a level in a game. Like, I don't understand that. I'm just saying a remote like this should never be put into my hands, because I would do some ungodly things with it. Some illegal, immoral things that I will not say in order to not incriminate myself. Oh my God, wait. This would be the perfect thing for people with eating disorders. Hear me out, right? Because you know he's doing the samples thing. If you eat something and then hit the remote, right? Will it send you back to before you had anything in your stomach? Do you still remember the flavor? I'm assuming you remember the flavor, right? So you could basically just eat anything you want, and instead of sticking your finger down your throat, you could just hit the redo button, right? Yeah. This, by the way, is my favorite. Is the funniest. Well, I don't want to say the funniest, but it's one of the funniest scenes here with the cop.
Oh shit! Suicide by cop! I love these!
Suicide by cop, I love these. This scene right here, Morty, I guess, uses the remote because he was about to go do something perverted, but then he sees this chick and he gets completely distracted. Goes on this whole tangent storyline where he falls in love with this girl. The montage was pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. Dude, all this happens in like days. Like, days have passed, possibly weeks. Rick is so patient. Like, he's just patiently waiting for his get back. Also, let me get your opinion on this, because to be honest, in situations like this, I see nothing wrong with cannibalism. I mean, look, he's already dead. You guys have to survive, and if survival means eating an already dead person, come on. I mean, you know, like what? You're just supposed to let protein go to waste and die? Look, I'm just saying, if I was a government body or like the police or whoever judges stuff like this, I hear some people got stranded on some mountaintop. They're near death. They've already eaten the boots, and they ate some guy who's already dead. They didn't kill him. I mean, I wouldn't prosecute anything. And of course, leave it to Jerry to do something stupid, like grabbing a random remote and just pressing it. How do you not know what your TV remote looks like, buddy? I don't fault Morty in this. Imagine trying to explain this to the girl that you were just in a whole romantical relationship with. Like, it would be hard. I mean, I wouldn't look like a creep by touching her face like he did, but you know. Look, if he gets attacked by these gorillas, at what point does he get the opportunity to press the button again to reset? I mean, if he really wanted some gore, then instead of jumping into the gorilla exhibit, he should have jumped into the chimpanzee exhibit. Now, the chimpanzees will really fuck you up. And here we are, the moment of truth. Look, after having done all that, Morty apparently comes to this realization. He basically just does a whole lot of yapping to Rick, like he learned a lesson or whatever.
Wow, that's a beautiful thought, Morty, but no, there were definitely consequences.
And I love the fact that Rick just sits there listening to him yap, drinking Capri Sun, probably. And then he tells him, no, man, I mean, what you did, there were consequences.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you did everything you did. It all happened.
And this is the scariest reveal ever, bro. Like, I mean, he tells him that...
No, but the respawn button, the do-over.
It's not a do-over, you just did it.
Morty just assumed that there was no consequences. Every time he pressed reset, it was just a hard reset. What he did never happened.
What are you saying? What did you do?
I think it's more appropriate to ask, what did you do?
But Rick tells him, this isn't time travel, man. Every time you hit reset, there had to have been a sacrifice of a Morty in order to make your reset possible. Every single wasteful reset resulted in the death of a Morty. And yes, this is very similar to what happened in The Prestige.
That's right, you little bitch. It's The Prestige.
I guess this is basically when I run down the plot of The Prestige for you if you haven't heard it. I'll do it really quickly. I'm not going to waste your time. Basically, there are two magicians. They're trying to one-up each other. One of the magicians decides to do this trick where he goes in one door, disappears, goes in the other door. The other magician is obsessed with this trick. He wants to figure out how he does this trick, but he, for the life of him, can't figure out how to do this trick. So he goes far, all the way to America, looking for this guy. Apparently, it was Nikola Tesla, who's been working on some inventions. And he tells Nikola Tesla that he will pay him a lot of money to create create him a machine that will allow him to do this. I actually like the way they depict Nikola Tesla here, like he's some type of mad genius, scientist guy, almost like a Rick, who makes him the machine. So now he's got his own, basically, teleportation trick. He goes in one place, comes out the other. His is more elaborate. Goes in here, and all the way at the back of the theater, he pops out. He finally figures out how to do it. Except the machine that was created for him basically creates duplicates of him, but he can't have all those duplicates coming out. So whenever he hops in to the machine, which is the first entrance, there's a duplication that happens. Except one of the copies gets sent down into a vat of water where they drown and they die. And it's the other one that gets sent up there. The scary part is that it's like randomized. Like if the original hops in there, we don't really know who gets sacrificed. The original could have been dead already in the vat of water. That's right. In order to succeed in magic tricks, the magician sacrifices himself and multiple other versions of himself just for a trick. Yeah, that was the Prestige, and that's exactly what happened here. In order for Morty to do this reset thing, he has to sacrifice a whole lot of Mortys, and it's terrifying. And Morty comes to the realization every single time he did that little cheese ball thing toss in the air, he killed the Morty to do that. And do you remember the foreshadowing?
How did
Morty, you want me to explain, or you want to go have some fun?
I want to have some fun.
Where Rick gives him the choice. Hey, I can explain this to you, or you can just go have fun. Maybe Morty should have listened to him explain it. So when Rick fixes it, he doesn't completely erase everything. In the dimension that they are now, everything that happened. So every time he pushed those old people to the ground, that happened. Every time he killed those people while driving Heroin Keith was his name or something. I don't know. Oh, and of course they bring back the phrase suicide by cop.
We're also fine with just shooting you if you want a suicide by cop.
This scene was funny. And Rick finished out his revenge by coming full circle by bringing back the Vat of Acid, the same Vat of Acid that Morty had disrespected so much. He's actually very petty for this. Okay, the final parts of this episode gets kind of weird. This was funny.
Welcome to use this ladle.
You think I'm a goddamn idiot? Brought my own.
And of course, the SWAT guy, pulls his pants down and whips out his cock and balls. Yeah, that was the Vat of Acid episode. One of my favorites, because it also makes a reference to one of my favorite movies. I didn't think that The Prestige was a horror movie at first. Definitely left me more scared than any slasher or any kind of horror movie would. Spring your boy, I'm out.